Right now, I want to welcome to the program our friends Chris and Casey Keefer from Dropped Project Alaska right here on Sportsman Channel. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
How you doing, Cam?
I'm good. It's been a while. Thanks for coming on the program.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Listen, I saw this story from Game and Fish Mag. It happened earlier this month down in Florida. A 54-year-old Susan Chalfant went to walk her dogs, ended up getting attacked by a 200-pound black bear. This, according to the folks with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the worst documented bear attack in Florida history. And they say that, there are, I guess, a growing number of bear and human encounters in Florida as you have the growing suburbs. This is something, obviously, you guys, with your experience on Dropped, I mean, you've encountered a lot of different wildlife. I'm curious if you guys, have any thoughts about, again, the increased likelihood that those of us not in Alaska, those of us not in Yukon, but those of us in Central Florida are at an increased risk of bear attacks.
Yeah, I think it's an ever-growing issue that we're having to deal with kind of on a daily basis. I think some states are putting in some stuff now to kind of control it. I think, us being up here in Michigan, being in the UP, obviously there's a bear population up here. And I don't know, I find that it is growing ever closer to where we're actually encountering them in backyards and, even, on playgrounds, like in schools I've heard of, bears that are showing up kind of on the outskirts. So it's definitely something that we got to keep an eye on.
What's the closest encounter that you all have ever had with a bear, if you don't mind me asking that very personal question?
I think the closest encounter we had is actually this year on Dropped when we were in Alaska, back in Alaska for the second time. We have an encounter with about a 9.5-foot sow, very angry at us for being around where her children were. She had three cubs with her, and we captured it all on film of her charging, and it was definitely a hair raiser. I don't think by any means she was going to finish the attack. I feel like she was more or less kind of doing a bluff charge. We kind of you spend enough time around and you kind of get that feeling that that's what's going to happen. And so, but it was close enough where it definitely got the heart pounding. She got to about 40 yards before she decided to stand up and look at us, which then at that point you realize, wow, 9.5 is really big.
I would imagine so. And by the way, how much time do you have to spend around a charging bear before you get to figure out whether or not they're bluffing?
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Enough to keep your eyes open to see what they're actually doing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no kidding. You also, look, we're kind of laughing about this, but. Do you all have any tips, recommendations? What should people do, God forbid, if they actually are out walking their dogs or they're out jogging, riding their bike or whatever, and they do end up having a close encounter of the bear kind?
I think the biggest thing that they can do is stay calm, especially around black bears. Down in Florida and throughout most of the U.S., that's kind of what people are going to be encountering is black bears.
Mm-hmm.
Stay calm, assert yourself, make yourself look as big as humanly possible. If you've got, anything you can grab to hold up high overhead to make yourself seem a whole lot bigger than you are, make yourself seem as large as possible, and just, speak in kind of an assertive type tone. Whatever you do, don't turn and run. I mean, a bear is a natural predator. Turning and running is going to trigger an instinct of food, and that's just not a good thing.
I
think one of the things that always stood out on Dropped was the hay bear moment that we had with we actually just kept yelling hay bear. Now, I don't think that he necessarily understood what that meant, but I feel like the tone in which we're saying it in and like Casey said, kind of keeping calm, the last thing you want to do is freak out. And I know that's hard to say when you're face to face, especially if you've absolutely never seen one before.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a little bit alarming, but I feel like just staying calm is the biggest thing because eventually – they are, at least in my opinion, they're a little more scared of us because they don't know what's going on and they want to get out of there. They don't like the uncomfortable situation. So just stay calm and act big, like Casey said.
All right. You guys having a good hunting season?
It's been awesome.
Finally, a good one with whitetail and everything. It was one of those seasons for us.
That is fantastic to hear. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. You guys are going to be at SHOT Show this year, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Well, listen, you guys have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will see you in Las Vegas here in just a few weeks.
All right, man. Sounds good, Tim. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
fellas.
Tim.
Chris and
Thanks,
Casey
guys. Merry
Keefer. Thank you, guys. Hosts of Dropped, Project Alaska.